Hello, my name's Richard. I'm a cosplayer. As you see, I'm cosplaying Dr. Henry Walton Jones from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. And I've done versions of this video a number of times, and every time I come across new information, I update the videos, and I have just done that. So, the actor was Sean Connery, who we recently lost. He was 58 years old at the time of filming. When I started doing this character, I was 58 as well. The costume designer was Anthony Powell, and the decision was made early on that he would wear the same costume throughout the film, which Anthony Powell said presented challenges. And he also, in different interviews, he changed what his influences was, or maybe his influences were a blend. At one point, he said that the character design was based on a university professor he had. At another point, he said that the costume was based on how his grandfather dressed. And an interesting thing about the costume is the character is it's very easy to make it recognizable. The first time I did this character, which was for Halloween about 5 years ago, I just grabbed random things out of my closet. It was literally closet cosplay, and everyone recognized me. Oddly enough, as over the years I've made the costume more and more screen accurate, it's become a little bit less recognizable to the public. And you might say, well, how can that be? Well, for one thing, the public, I think, remembers iconic things. They remember a tweed hat. They remember a tweed coat. They remember a bow tie. They remember glasses. Well, the actual glasses are rimless. So glasses with heavy rims, the actual tweed is like this, extremely dark. A bright tweed pattern that jumps out, heavy rimmed glasses that jump out, a bright bow tie that jumps out. Just reads like the character more to people. So that's the conundrum I've ended up as I've gotten more screen accurate, less people know who I am. Because I recognize that there is a continuum of cosplay, and on one end you have a closet cosplay, and another end you have screen accurate. And in this character, you can kind of do anything in that continuum and you'll be recognized. Now, where to get information about the costume? One of the best sources is called bondsuits.com. And of course, this is not a Bond suit, but it is worn by Sean Connery, who wore a lot of Bond suits. And so there is a page for this character with really good information. Now, where to get a suit? I know people who have managed to find vintage suits that are very close. I'm a big person. I'm 6'4". I wear a size 50 coat. I wear size 14 shoes. I'm not going to find vintage clothes that fit me. It's going to be extremely unlikely. So I had to go the bespoke route, the custom route. And the place I found, or actually someone else found and recommended it to me, was Studio Suits in Mumbai. Now the original suit was heavy Harris tweed in a herringbone, a brown herringbone. Now for Studio Suits in Mumbai, they have Harris tweeds, but none of them are the right color. And also, I went on the Harris Tweed site, and they didn't have any Harris Tweeds currently available that were the correct color. Now, of the colors, I got swatches from Studio Suits. And here is their various herringbone tweeds. Now, the suit I got was the one that I thought, at the time I ordered without seeing swatches, was the best one. And they call it the herringbone dark brown. Well, it doesn't look very dark, but it has that taupe look, because in the film the suit looks gray in some shots, taupe in some shots, and brown, tan. It really varies from thing to thing. So what I did just this morning was I looked online on YouTube at the scenes where the character is seen outdoors in natural sunlight. And those scenes are the motorcycle chase scene, the beach scene with the birds and the umbrella, and the tank chase, but not when he's inside the tank, but when he's standing on top of the tank. And these were a revelation, because in all these scenes, his suit looks more brown, more tan than it does in any of the indoor scenes. And so I'm thinking that the suit was actually more brown than I originally imagined it was. Now, what I came up with over and over again was that in outdoor scenes, that his suit was really halfway in between two of the herringbone tweeds that Studio Suits offers. One is they call the Irish brown herringbone tweed, and the other one they call the rust herringbone tweed. And this is the one that they're using, the rust, for the Peaky Blinders tweed suit, and it looks pretty, on the pictures, it looks pretty much like the pictures of the Last Crusade Henry Jones suit. So I think either one would be good. This is probably a little dark. This is probably a little light. It's somewhere in between, but I think the advantages of ordering through Studio Suits might outweigh the disadvantage of having a slightly incorrect tweed. Now this tweed here is just the right tone. It's a little bit too taupe, not quite tan enough, and it is from a British mill called Marton Mills, but it has an overcheck. It has a window pane, so it wouldn't work for this character. Now, and I looked at some other tweeds. There's a company in Ireland called McGee 1866. They have a brown herringbone that looks too taupish. They have a rust herringbone that looks pretty darn good. I'd have to see the actual swatches. Also, Marton Mills in northern England has a tweed they call Mocha Reeve that online looks good, but who can say? In any case, about the suits. Studio Suits in Mumbai is cool because it's just $220 for a tweed, 100% wool tweed herringbone suit. And I would say probably the rust herringbone is probably the closest that you're going to find. You can customize all the details. That's what's great about the site. So the jacket, you want a 2-button front, medium notched lapels. There's no vent in the back at all. And on this side you have the flat pockets here, and then you have a third pocket, the small ticket pocket here. Now, the waistcoat, that's what had to be customized more, because the waistcoat has 4 pockets. The upper 2 are welted pockets, the lower 2 are flat pockets, 6 buttons, kind of a high cut in front. This is too low, the one I'm wearing now, that's the first one I wore. And there's a vertical buttonhole here between the 4th and 5th button, which is for the pocket watch strap. He always wears a pen in this pocket, and he's got the pocket watch strap going across with a buckle. And I'm going to get into those things in the second video. Now the pants. I should put these down so I can reach the pants. The pants have no belt loops. They're held up with braces, suspenders. And the pockets have this slight, the Studio Suits they're their standard pockets. They call them cross pockets. They're exactly like the Henry Jones pockets. They're flat front, there's no pleats. He wears burgundy braces, claret braces. The leather work should be brown. I don't think you can ever see if he has pockets in the back or what they're like, but that's the pockets that I went with. So they're handy sometimes to use. Now, the original suit was herringbone tweed, and Sean Connery said, I'm not going to wear this heavy herringbone tweed at Petra in the desert location. So they had a lightweight cotton suit made, printed to look the same. Now the shirt, The shirt is said to be off-white with subtle white pinstripes, semi-spread collar, French cuffs. I have never been able to find shirt fabric like that. And in most scenes, the shirt looks just plain white or plain off-white or a very pale, dull, grayish taupe. Now, they have shirts you can find that are called tonal stripe, and that's not what his is. A tonal stripe, it's the same color fabric, thread, but there's differences in the weaves that create the impression of stripes. Henry Jones' shirt is not like that. It's actually a cotton, woven cotton with pinstripes, contrasting colors, and I've not found it. Now let's go into the tie. He has a diamond point bow tie. It's an extremely dark blue. Almost every scene, even in close-ups, it just looks black. And a lot of people think it's polka dots. It's actually a pattern of small brown quatrefoils, kind of a four-petaled flower design. I've never been able to find that tie. What I did find is somebody on Etsy named Annie J. Classic Bow Ties. And what she'll do is you can send her a vintage or new, I guess, a long tie, and she'll convert it into a bow tie. And that's what I did for this one. It's pretty close. It's dark blue. It's got little kind of goldish, yellowish dots, squared off dots. It's not quite the rack. I've looked at thousands of ties. I've never found the correct tie. Now this is the closest one I found. And it's extremely dark, basically black, with a pattern of brown squares. I don't know if you can see it there. That's the closest I found. It's really, really close to the screen tie. And I had her make it up as a clip-on. And you say, why should you do clip-on? The thing is, I'm by myself usually. I'm dressing at a Comic-Con. I might be in the parking lot. I might be in the car park and I'm getting dressed. I don't want to fumble around with having. Now, it is an actual hand-tied tie. It just so happens it's made up where I can put it on quickly. Now let's go to the shoes. The shoes are said to be punch cap toe Oxfords in a color called oxblood. Nowadays, back then they would call it oxblood. Nowadays we call it Merlot or Burgundy. And okay, what's an Oxford? An Oxford is a shoe, and these shoes are so dark, I don't know if you can see, but they have a closed lacing system. These pieces of leather that hold the laces are inset in these pieces, this piece, which is on top. And that's an Oxford. If you don't have that, if you have this kind of system where the leather holding the laces, it goes over top, is stitched on top. Those are called derbies or darbies. So now cap toe. There's a cap on the toe, punch cap. There's a system of a little pattern of punched holes, decorative holes. These shoes are really a dead ringer for the actual shoes. And these are size 14. Actually, I think these are 15s. So you can find the correct vintage shoes, on eBay. It is not difficult. So this will conclude this video. And then I have number 2 video where I talk about the hat, the pocket watches, the pen, I think the cufflinks, which are said to be round, but they look oval. You can see them pretty good in the motorcycle scene. And then the 3rd video, which will cover the umbrella, the suitcase, the diary, and the grail itself.